Hello Mech Warriors, and welcome back to the Mech Lab! We all know that autocannons are generally bad weapons. They're extremely heavy, and even though this is somewhat balanced by the fact that they have very low heat, especially in Succession Wars era when double heat sinks are not available, they are pretty universally worse than energy weapons and missiles. But once we progress past the clan invasion era, a new piece of technology is introduced that makes these weapons not only compete with energy weapons, it makes them potentially as broken as clan large pulse lasers. Today's video is about precision ammo and whether or not you should allow it in your games. So, the traditional weapon of the win at all costs jerk in your game group is the clan large pulse laser. And for good reason. It's extremely accurate, it has great range, but in the same era in which that is available, you start getting precision ammo being available for autocannon. So here in Mega Mech we have some designs that are greatly improved by having precision ammo. We'll go over them in a minute, but let's just establish what precision ammo does first. It halves the number of rounds in the ammo bin. So for an AC-10, you normally have 10 rounds in the ammo bin. With precision ammo, you get 5. And it reduces the enemy's target movement modifier by up to 2. So it essentially turns autocannons into pulse lasers against enemies that have moved at least 5 hexes. But one thing to note is that it rounds down. So for AC-20s, which normally have 5 rounds per bin, the precision ammo only gives you 2 shots per ton of ammo that you're carrying. So AC-20s, which normally already had a bit of an ammo issue, suddenly become extremely scarce on ammo. But that's not necessarily a problem for the Saladin, since it's going to be a high priority target for the enemy, and if it fires its gun for 4 rounds, it's basically already done its job. Here's the packet for Battle for the Hinterlands, which is the latest MRC tournament, and here you can see the limitations, such as the amount of jump that you're allowed to have in your list, banning of artillery, and the limit of 28 damage worth of pulse lasers in your list. But notably, we have limit of 3 total tons of precision ammo between AC-20 and AC-10s. However, AC-2s and 5s, which are generally considered to be the weaker weapons and probably need the help of the precision ammo, are unlimited. You can have as many as you want. And then we also have bonus victory points for every match that you're in if you have no precision autocannon ammo. So obviously, in the opinion of the tournament organizers at the MRC, precision ammo for AC-10s and 20s is broken. In previous tournaments, precision ammo in AC-10s and 20s has been completely banned. They have made it so that you can't even take it in these guns at all, meaning that it is considered by some people to be more broken than clan large pulse lasers, which in my opinion is actually kind of ridiculous. Having played in a tournament where I used a Saladin with precision ammo, I did not find that it was that game-breaking. It was certainly good, it definitely landed a couple of solid AC-20 hits, but would I have rather had a bunch of clan large pulse lasers instead? Absolutely. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have you played with precision ammo, and do you think that it is worth banning at your table because it's too powerful? Now, I promised you that I would go over some of these units that are greatly improved by having access to precision. First of all, we have the Talos 1B, 1 AC-10, 2 tons of ammo, meaning that it has 10 rounds of fire using precision, plenty of ammo there. This is a great unit once you have access to precision, able to fire at most ranges pretty reasonably. The Hunchback 4H, I think, benefits even more than the classic 4G, because again, you have 10 rounds of fire, and with the 4G you have a lot less than that, so people are just going to ignore the 4G, which basically invalidates its entire purpose. The 4H, on the other hand, has really powerful close-range firepower and a little bit of extra range, and with that precision AC-10, it basically has a large X-pulse laser that only produces 3 heat, and it actually does more damage than the large X-pulse laser. Now, it's debatable whether or not the large X-pulse laser is a good weapon, but having one that produces less than a quarter of the heat is quite powerful in my opinion. Wolverine 6D, its only weapon basically is the AC-10, so turning this into a pulse laser is extremely powerful. The Hammerhands 4D, 2 AC-10s with 4 tons of ammo, able to produce some really good results with this weapon loadout. Great armor overall. It's a little slow, but with the PPC and the 2 AC-10s, it can fight at that mid-range pretty well, and it's cheap, under 1400 battle value for a heavy mech like this is very reasonable. The classic Banshee is considered really bad most of the time, but with that nice 4/6 movement, big thick slabs of armor, and again, what is essentially an X-Pulse laser, it can do some pretty good damage and get into melee and smash some people pretty well. It is going to have some heat problems, but for under 1500 battle value, you can't go wrong. And that's another thing about precision ammo that is so powerful. It doesn't affect the battle value of a mech. So if you were overloaded on ammo before, having maybe 20 or 30 rounds of ammunition, or even more, like with an AC-2 or AC-5 boat, suddenly you have a more appropriate amount of ammo, and it makes the weapon better, and it doesn't increase your battle value. So overall, the precision ammo is definitely very strong. Gladius medium hover tank, really fast. It's basically a Saladin with better armor and a less impactful gun, but it can fire for 10 rounds with precision ammo, which makes it very strong. The classic Saladin, you know it, you love it. It's made of paper, but it has that AC-20. It can fire for 4 rounds with precision ammo. I've taken this in a tournament, and it actually does really good damage. It is going to get targeted down and destroyed really quickly, but with 40mm, I mean, it's pretty hard to deal with. And a classic badass line breaker, the 65-ton Rommel tank with an AC-20. It has entirely too much ammo, but with precision, you're only getting 8 rounds of fire out of that AC-20, but that's probably plenty. If it fires for 8 rounds, it's done its job. Now for a couple of later era units, we have the Battlemaster 6C, very cheap armor brick. 1557 battle value is very reasonable for something with nearly 250 armor. This thing is super tough, has a couple of small X-Pulse lasers for that close range punch, and 4 light autocannon 5s with 4 tons of ammo, meaning that all of them will have 10 rounds of fire with precision, case 2 in both of the torsos, which makes that 340 light engine a little bit less vulnerable, and a couple of rear-mounted ER small lasers. I've run this one in a tournament a couple of times because it has the command console. This is a great initiative boosting piece of tech, and this is a great brawler. I mean, it's just super powerful at that close and medium range with those quad light AC-5s. They're essentially slightly weaker, slightly longer range clan medium pulse lasers, assuming that the enemy has moved. And that's really the crux of what this comes down to. Precision ammo is great against enemies that are moving, but if you're spamming precision ammo on your list, the enemy might just decide to stay still rather than trying to build up TMM and not having it give much of an effect. And that's going to give them much better to hit numbers. Meanwhile, you are not going to benefit from that precision ammo, and it's going to run your bins dry a lot faster. So you've got to be careful when building your list. Bring a couple of pulse lasers so that they're encouraged to keep moving and keep there to hit numbers down. A great cheap little cavalry unit, the Shadowhawk 9D, 585 movement, that light engine is pretty durable still. Maxed out armor for a 55-tonner is solid. Twin MML5s gives it some great flexibility at range and up close. A little medium pulse laser is kind of piddly, but we've got that light AC-5 to provide some mid-range firepower. And with 10 rounds of ammunition with precision, that should be plenty for you. And a targeting computer allows the light AC-5 to act as a really accurate pulse laser and makes the medium pulse laser even more accurate than it already is as well. So this is a unit that really benefits from that precision ammo, making this light AC-5 devastatingly accurate, especially against fast movers. The Alicorn Mark III comes with a triple AC-10 turret and a lot of armor and a lot of ammo. If there's any tank that you want to take advantage of the precision ammo with, it's probably the Alicorn Mark III. 3 AC-10s that are essentially acting as large X-Pulse lasers on a, well, I mean, it's not very fast, but it's reasonably mobile for an assault tank that is extremely tough and hard to bring down. That's just fantastic. It has so much ammo that it's pretty much never going to run out, even with precision ammo, and is just going to act as a brick that the enemy has to deal with as it trundles up to the objective. Finally, one more for you. We got the Emperor 7L. Pretty basic unit here, but maxed out stealth armor on a 90-ton mech is pretty nasty, and twin AC-10s with tons of ammo that it can swap over to precision and still have enough to fire for the entire game is super deadly. A couple medium pulse lasers to back it up at close range, and an ER large laser to add a little bit of long-range punch as it's closing to bring those AC-10s to bear. Definitely a big fan of the Emperor, even though it is a pretty heavy hefty price tag. Since this is a video mostly about a specific type of ammo, I'm not going to go over every single mech that has great potential to exploit precision ammo, but in the comments, let me know what your favorite units are to exploit precision ammo with, and let me know if you think that precision ammo is balanced or if it needs to get the tournament treatment like this to balance it out compared to other broken tech like pulse lasers, super jump spam, and command consoles, which are basically completely banned in the MRC, along with any other initiative boosting tech. Hope to hear from you in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Stay safe out there, Mech Warriors, and have a great day.